Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Lola Shafa. We're going to be reviewing the finale episode of Ready to Love. This is season 4, episode 11, and I Choose You. Before we go into everything else, so start talking, first and foremost, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and make a comment. And of course, we know what this is. This is the finale episode. Who they're choosing, we are probably going to choose each other. We know this. But what's different here is how they get chosen. Let's see how it plays out. So, going into the first scene, we have V with her family. That's her stepdad, mother, and then, of course, her eldest daughter. I think she has 3 children, meeting Joe. They sit down, hello, What I thought was odd is, yeah, y'all set this up, and then she's still hugging them like they didn't come in the same car together. But I digress. So anyway, she sits down with them. They meet up. Joe comes in. They shake his hand. The only thing to take from this scene is that, yeah, her family fell like a pack of cards. So they are all for Joe. Just left to be seen. Because we kind of saw this coming. We knew they were choosing each other. Looked like, okay, maybe he was tired. Maybe he wasn't tired. I don't know. We don't know. But at this point, they're choosing each other. They're going into finale. Point is here, once the reunion episodes come through, are they still together? I think that's the real question. We knew they were going to choose each other at this point, but what's going to happen after that? Because they've filmed all these episodes, like a year ago. So let's see what's going on with that. So moving on to the next. So next scene we have, Jason meeting Liz's family. Her brother, I think, brother-in-law, brother, and 2 sisters met at a table. So we know that Jason has a background. I think he used to be like a baller either for one of the foreign leagues, something. So has a little bit of Rico Suave going with him. So Brad comes in, and he did say he led it with like, yeah, he has no problem. He's feeling confident, meets the family. But this is how Brad decides to play his cards, right? And you know what? Before we even start, I'm not even mad at his play. So this is how he goes and comes in. Hey everyone, cha, how you doing? Oh yeah, And so he knows, Liz is, she's a Christian, practicing. I don't want to say religious, but spiritual. And so he's assuming the family is likewise. So first of all, the first thing comes in is like, yeah. So, he sees like, the appetizers on the table. So, oh, have we prayed yet? Oh, well, let's go ahead. Let's pray. Anybody that's mad at that move is a hater. The dude has to play his cards right. First impressions take you everywhere you need to go. First impressions matter. You only get one opportunity for a first impression. And he blew this out the water because the brother-in-law says, yo, that's a 3-pointer right there. Once again, I'm not mad at him. Well played. This is a game. We keep forgetting. It's televised because it's a game, not because it's meant to be all realistic. Because clearly, realistic, someone following with cameras is not realistic. So anyway, starts the prayer, warms them up, and immediately everybody's relaxed. They're like, so you're for real? Now, okay, honestly, I'm going to put this lightly. If you ask a foolish question, you're going to get a foolish answer. So one of the ladies says, so you're for real? If someone asks you, are you for real? Are you going to say, no, I'm not, I'm fake? No, you're not. Brad says, yeah. And then brother-in-law says, okay, you know what? So what are your favorite scriptures? Okay, so this is not Bible study. You're just meant to meet the dude. Everyone who's cool doesn't necessarily have, or anyone who's well suited to a family member doesn't necessarily mean they have the scriptures memorized. So this is probably not a great test. But anyway, they ask him. But no, bro, man, he swung this out the park again, another 3-pointer. Unlike Trump, instead of saying all the scriptures are my favorite and blah, 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 Brad named 2 scriptures and gave some light, fluffy explanation as to why they're his favorites. That was neither here nor there. This was just surface questions for the camera, and he blew it out of water. Anybody hating on that is a hater. Don't hate the player, hate the game. He swung out, and after that, they just seemed to have a nice, easy chemistry, going back and forth. It was a great meeting of families, in my, humble opinion. I think he did well. Oh, and there was one point where I think one of the sisters asked him a question about, how he felt about his choice. And the reason why I remember this and I like this, he said he felt secure in the woman he has chosen because there has been some, hoopla about, was Kyra's first choice, first, second, third, 100 choice. Point is, this is who he's chosen, this is who he's ending up with. We'll see how it plays out in the reunion episode, but right now, this is who he has chosen, and he appears to be happy with his choice, and the woman he chose is happy that she was chosen. So we have the next meeting. Amber meets KG's brothers, Keenan Keenan was the one asking questions too. He reminded me of Keenan from, Power. Keenan was a very crafty character, but I'm not saying they're the same person. But anyway, the two brothers, Keenan and Kazan, something like that, two Ks. Well, they're all Ks because KG's K. So the three, KG, brings her, she meets the brothers, sit at the table, and, the question he asked was, she's professional, she's beautiful, she's this, she's that, she's a queen or whatever they said. And yeah, so why hasn't she been snatched up yet? And my good sis has a perfect response for these stupid questions. Well, she said, not necessarily why haven't I been hooked up, why haven't I allowed myself to be hooked up? She has a choice in the matter. And the thing is, the way he even put it, he's like, why has someone who is 31 not been hooked up yet? Really? I think in 2021, it is apparent that there's no rush to the altar. You rush and you end up with an explosive. So I'm not sure why that judgment or double standard came in, because what he needs to do is ask his brother, KG, who is in his 40s, why is he still single? Is something wrong with him? Does he have a character flaw? Not the other way around. But let me step off my soapbox. But I just kind of hate this, when these double standards come up, Your brother is 41. He's good 10 plus years older than this young lady. And you're not asking your brother why he's not hooked up, why maybe he has a character flaw, but you're asking her. But this is all for TV. So anyway, she answered the question appropriately. Then they come up with another question like, yeah, is this for real? Why are you asking her, is this for real? Why don't you ask your brother if this is for real? Doesn't he? His number 6 is, tick, 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 is working, right? Like he had number 6, like he can, yeah, when I heard that question, I was just like, but anyway, and then he went on, the brother, I think it was Keenan, who was still asking this question. Like, hey, one of the brothers was asking. And I think they now tried to explain that the reason why they were asking was because of KG's experience last season with, what's her name, Nia Gate. Yeah. That's on, to some extent, your brother participated, he was part of that Nia Gate thing. But that's fair, it's TV, so they have to ask some stupid questions just to get the camera rolling. And it didn't end up on the floor. But anyway, she explains that, she's sincere. She says all what she needs to say. She's a lawyer. So now we have Kyra, preparing her, well, it's not her sister, but a good friend of hers who's like her sister and her mother to meet AJ. And, they're, plotting. Her friend, I think her name is Kyra or something, is also an attorney. So they're going professional, like, how should we seat him so we can intimidate him the most? And this reminds me of a question I had asked videos back when I said, probably earlier on in the season, when I said that, can one recover from something like this, like the El Chipo thing that, occurred? Can you recover from this? And that's what we're trying to see, because now they're trying to intimidate him. So anyway, AJ walks in, comfortable. I mean, he's charming to some extent, so he knows how to put it on to get to where he needs to go. So, he's talking to the mother, he's talking to her friend, sister friend. They go back and forth. I'm not sure if that's how it was edited and chopped up, but it very well did seem like an interrogation. He was in a witness box, answering questions. But he actually said they had to wipe a little bead of sweat. But it was funny, I don't know how long. Initially it was like chop, question, answer, and then eventually it relaxed. Mom was like, okay, she kind of likes him, she's for him. The sister friend, was very well informed of her assignment. And she stuck with it. She didn't let up. She's like, And that kind of leads us to the point where I was saying, I think last week when we were talking about where she had made a comment about how, yeah, if you can't go past the family, then she's not going to choose you. So to me, it looks like she had definitely prepped her friend, maybe not so much her mother, in helping her set the ground for, yeah, AJ, I'm not interested. Because that's what I'm getting from her, the vibes. I'm not interested from her because, they had asked a question. I think it was a friend that asked a question that, what do you see? What's your next step with you and Kyra? And he honestly said, I don't know. And then, Kyra goes into her monologue to say, well, she was disappointed. But, excuse you? You're disappointed? What have you shown him to show that there is a next step? He's done most of the walking right now. So why you expect him to make something up to impress? It's like you almost want him to lie. You guys have, you said it a few times that you've never made him the primary number one. So all of a sudden he should have a plan for both of you, even though he knows, because he knows He knows that he's not been the number one. That's why he first of all sent you home and then brought you back because you said you'd stay with him, but you want to decide to stay with him because you want to end the show. She really doesn't look interested. I mean, previously I thought she was interested, but with how everything is turning out, she doesn't look interested. So why are you mad? Go into, with the reverse. So KG now meets Amber's people, brothers, sisters, about 3 people. And, she's like, grill him, blah, blah. The only thing good out this meeting that I thought was kind of odd was the brother that asked him, so how many serious relationships have you had? Brother said 4. 4 is average, or maybe not much for someone who's in his 40s. And dude goes ahead to say that's a lot. I don't know if there was some editing and that don't make any sense. How are 4 serious relationships in someone who's 40-something a lot? At this point, I guess they were just trying to fluff the scenes up. They didn't throw everything on the ground, and so they wanted to at least give us a scene with the 2 of them there. Anyway, they kind of, eventually, one of the sisters asked a question about, she's always busy and she's this and that. How are you going to help her do the self, wellness? And first of all, I think we all know that nobody can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. And to some point, you also have to be responsible for your own wellness. It's nice for your partner to support you, but he can't tell you how and what needs to be done. But I mean, he gave a good answer, like in a roundabout way, where he's like, I'll, encourage her. Long and short, the sisters got that. Okay, he's supportive of their sisters, supportive of Amber's career. And so he's not there to be jealous or feel like he gets a competition with her. He's proud of her. I think that's what he got from that. But that was also some of these questions that, I feel it's the producers feeding them questions. Don't reveal much. So now they're scrambling to edit stuff together that makes any sense. But let's move on. So next we have Joel's family, which is his sister and his niece, the sister's daughter. I don't know what it was, Baba Butter, 2 B's, like Baba and Butter. I don't remember what they said. This is but they had some double B names. And I think what was important from this point here was when the sister, after V had left, they had a little short exchange, I'm territorial, so am I. Okay, whoop-de-woo. And what the sister said, which is the theme we've been hearing. I'm not sure how true it is because this is an edited show, but the sister did say something about, I think she likes you too much. Yeah, I think that's crucial. And that gives Joel a lot of power. So that, once again, makes us think, did they laugh? I think in a relationship like that, unfortunately, it helps when you're not the one that likes someone too much. It gives you more bargaining power, more space to be you or to get what you need if you're not the one who's liking the other person too much. Ideally, it'd be nice if it's equal. Realistically, it's never equal. There's always one more than the other, and it does change. If there's like a length of the relationship, that does kind of change where the one who was liking more can kind of, and the other one can come. Yeah, but I think in the beginning, it's more advantageous if it's the man that is liking too much and not the woman, because then of course, there is a tendency for the males to move mad. What's up, Coach? For the males to do what they do and misbehave, and it's less likely for a woman to do that. Not impossible, I'm not saying that's absolute, but it always helps when it's the male that likes too much as opposed to the female. So that does put her in an uncomfortable position where she can't really bargain or negotiate much. And when I say negotiate, that means negotiate for what she deserves or what she expects in the relationship. There's a tendency for women to come with a standard, package and with a certain amount of respect, but then with males have a tendency to take advantage of a situation. That's just how it is, and that's how it's been, which is why you've always been advised by, your elders that, let him like you more. Yeah, in anything, if you want to be serious about someone, it's always better if he likes you more. That's how it's always been. The next one we have is when Jason's mom meets Liz. And, I like how it opened up. Whether it was manufactured, where he playing for the camera. This week, I'm not mad at Jason. He's a growing young man. So, he pulls out the chair for his mom, sits down, have a little, kiki before Liz comes in. And then I think there's something that's fundamentally important here. Because it's one of the questions that the mother asked. And this was, she was talking about money, and it's true. Money, sex are the main things that break or build a relationship. But I thought it was, interesting that the mother also too kind of harped on this question, or maybe the editing of it just kind of harped it to create a theme for us to, hook onto. But anyway, she brings up stuff about, her understanding of money, and, let's give a good answer. I've been with and I've been without. I know what it feels on both ends. So I'm reasonable. I know what to do. And that makes me wonder, his past relationship, did he have people kind of depending on him somewhat? Then he was doing a lot. I'm not sure, but there's a theme here. Or maybe there isn't, and it was just the way it was edited. Hey. Another key question his mom asked was, how does Liz think she could lead him without knowing that he's been led? Mom. Great question. Probably not great to ask in front of him. But that is so true. They have, and the way people talk about this realistically is when they say that, when you say, okay, from a Christian household, you say that the man is the head of household, so he's the head. But women say, traditionally, that they're the neck. Head can't do nothing without the neck. Or you just be like this, looking crazy. So that more or less, I think, is the principle she was talking about. But I don't know if it's a good question to ask in front of him, because a man's ego probably can't take it. But you will meet a lot of people, like when they're in a relationship and it's strong and they're doing good, they're doing okay and they like each other. There's a tendency, not all the time, but a lot of time, women appear to be more practical, more in touch with their intuition, so they sense things and give good advice. So I think when you see, and it's really, it's like the partnership really, but women come up with they're a great support system. And that's, I think a perfect example for this would be Aunt Michelle and Uncle Barack. Barack Obama's secret weapon was Michelle Obama. That's just my humble personal opinion. And I think another thing, Barack Obama had an understanding of what his weaknesses and strengths were. And what helped was, it appears that Michelle was strong where he was weak. Perfect partnership. And his ego did not prevent him from relying and leaning on her, which is why he had a lot of respect for her. Because you'll see some relationships where the guy feels like, okay, I'm in charge, I'm the head, I don't need to listen. But no, there is clear, I think, from my observation, a clear understanding that he respected his wife's opinion, and his wife gave him great advice, and he leaned on her for counsel. That's just my personal opinion, and I think that's kind of where all this is going to. Someone you can trust and leave. And the thing is, like, you as the woman, knowing what you know, but you're not arrogant with it, you're just kind of sitting back and laying back, like, okay. And just kind of whisper in his ear and give him the info, and he'll run with it and run with it like it's his idea, but really it was yours. But the point isn't to say, oh, it's my idea. The point is for that thing to get executed. That's the main point, and that's where you put your ego to the side. So really being led requires strength, not necessarily leading. Yeah, you need strength to lead, but to allow someone to lead you requires some strength. And then we have the next scene was when AJ's mom meets Kyra. First of all, AJ, his little monologue was talking about how he and his mom have a kind of back and forth, lively back and forth. They tend to disagree on a lot of issues. And it's interesting that that's the kind of relationship he has with Kyra. And that leads us to what we might mention sometimes, where we say you marry a parent, particularly the parent you might have some issues with. So yes, there could be some deeper reasons as to why he's drawn to Kyra, more than he actually understands. Almost like he wants to be with his mother, because his mother is sprightly, like a sharp woman. But I think what was key when we met his mother was she won't go for all that AJ nonsense. She called him Ashland. I'm not sure. Ashland sounds nice to me. But she intentionally said, I don't know how many times she said, but I heard her, she said Ashland. She's not going to sit down and start calling him AJ with the rest of them. She named him Ashland, and so she's going to call him Ashland. And this kind of leads to the strength of character that she has. So, and I think that also shows me how he's not necessarily uncomfortable or scared of a strong woman, which is a good thing for Kyra, but there are other things, I guess, that came into play. So anyway, they have this kind of conversation, they engage. The mother did ask what did your mother ask? How she put it? She says that her son has had different things that he will engage in, like, hobbies and things he's done that he'll engage in and just as quickly disengage from. So really, a short attention span. He's interested in things for a short period of time, and that what does she, how does she think this relationship will go? Does she think that this relationship will go the distance? Now, Kyra didn't really answer the question, but she went in a roundabout way to bring up the El Cheapo incident. I don't know how I felt about that. You know, mom was for her. She was an old school gal, and that was wrong. She told the son off, and yeah, I mean, they seem to have like a nice little back and forth. You know, she's talking about grandchildren, and I think the final part was where the mom says that she would like AJ to take care of Kyra's heart. So all I got from the scene is, yeah, his mom does not baby him. She doesn't mince her words with him, and she wants to know that she raised a good man. I have no issues with that here. Strong woman. So then we get to the final scenes where you stand in a rose garden or somewhere deserted, and you wait for the person to meet up with you. I still think it's funny, but that's what they like to do. So first person, well, I'm not necessarily going to do it in the order. I'm just going to do the order that comes to my mind. So first person, you know, I believe Joel's like walking with some flowers or roses, something, meets up with V. We know they're going to meet up together. He says, I choose you. She said, I choose him. They choose each other. That's great. So I think the only thing Joel wants to know is, okay, so why did you choose me? And then V goes on to explain that, you know, she's been a strong woman for her children, but she wants to give her children an example of what love looks like and how she's feminine in a softer light. Okay, beautiful. All right, next person we think about is KJ and Amber. They meet somewhere else. They talk. I choose you, choose me. Yeah, great. And you know, they're going to explain. I think what was key here was when I think Amber says that KG caught her mind, not her eyes. I thought that was honest. So maybe it is real. I don't know. You know, I've been consistent in my side eye of this too, but maybe it is because that actually was like, oh, okay, that sounds honest. It wasn't necessarily her meeting him like, ooh. It was more like, you know, they got talking. She thought it was funny. She thought it was interesting. So he actually captured her mind. That's left to be seen. All right. So they're choosing each other. Moving on. And then the next couple, AJ and Kyra. I thought was, you know, Kyra already dressed in this nice red, you know, number. Meets him somewhere where he's playing the piano. He's got roses, he's got candles. He's like, yeah, this is good. I told your mother I was romantic. I'm romantic. Here we are. You know, they talk about serendipity, like how he had liked her one time, messed up, and he tried to see if he could make up for his messing up. And so, you know, Kyra gave a long monologue about, you know, they like each other versus, you know, knowing each other. Okay, so without making this longer, I think she was just saying that yeah, she liked him, but she'd never made him her primary pick for reasons best known to her, and she still didn't feel like she wanted to pick. And so in the first time in the history of the show, she turned him down before the end of the credits. And it makes me wonder, and I guess he'd be wondering too, so why did you agree to stay with me if you felt like this? Because I don't know how much time goes between the time he was meant to eliminate her and this choosing ceremony. I choose you ceremony. I don't know, and that would be the main question. Like, Kyra, why you stay? Because from the moment she stayed, she was focused on, you know, her beef with Jason for choosing Liz. So it seems almost she stayed to I don't know. She stayed to have an on-screen chat with Jason. I don't know, that's what it looks like. So that's the questions like, Kyra, why you stay? Kyra, why did you stay? Kyra, why did you stay? And I'm sure you do all these lives. I would love you to let us know why you stayed. Because from the time you said, yes, I'll stay with you, you knew that you weren't really into it. I don't know. And I think to a certain point as a woman, after a good amount of time, these things don't change. So were you really thinking what's going to change? I don't know. And I think for AJ, this was a humbling moment because I don't think he's familiar with rejection and rejected on such a stage as this. So will this help him build character or make him more of an asshole when he goes back to dating? I don't know. But, you know, men appear strong but not that strong. Is this something that's going to make him different? We don't know yet. And then final couple, my favorite couple, of course, Liz and Jason. So we know they chose each other. She's in a nice orange number, nice gold heels, look like 4-6-inch heels. All right, so she walking. Dun, dun, dun. All right, Jason comes up behind her, chooses her, tells us. Anyway, long and short of it, they chose each other. And I think, honestly, they appear to have, in my opinion, some really good chemistry. You know, turn around. I guess he kisses her a couple times. Like, they just have the good rapport. Now, I don't know where this is going to end, because I did say I'm no longer giving him the side eye. I'm just looking like, okay, let's see how this play out. You know, 1 month, 2 months. So I'm really curious to see how they are at the reunion, because I do believe someone can grow into who they are. He's 36, she's 40. It's not a huge gap, but it's just like where he is, where he's at. And certain things can make a man grow. Is this what's going to make him grow and be the man that she needs? And they can grow together. I don't know. I'm wishing the best for them, because they seem to have a great chemistry, great rapport. They laugh, kiki. I don't know how these last episodes are going to play out, if they really are still together. This is left to be seen, you know. But they had just a nice ending, and I think they ended with them. And you know, when they kiss, you see a genuine chemistry, because once again, when Joel and V had a little shared a moment, I don't know if that's like yeah, that was a note to me. Or maybe the producers told them to pause, because they had these. Joel and V had another awkward kiss. I don't know. KJ and Amber do okay, so it's like it's here and there. They could be together, they may not be together. We don't know. Let's see how the reunion plays out. But we know how things still kind of go off, you know, stop after reunion. But that really is it. So we've got the 4 couples who've chosen each other. Now it's, you know, to go to the reunion, which usually always spans 2 episodes, to see, okay, does this continue? Actually, no, we've got 3 couples, forgive me. So we now end the episode with 3 couples that chose each other. And we want to see if they go past, you know, after the reunion. Let's see what the reunion reveals, because there's always going to be some kind of revelation, because there's been some talk of blasism stuff behind the scenes. And that, yo, guys, this is how it ended. At least I do believe the scene ended on my favorite couple so far, which is Liz and Jason. I'm wishing them the best. I'm a little concerned, but, you know, life, you can't have, it's never 100%. You're never sure. You still have to step out, you know, it has to be step out in faith and belief and trust. And you have to use your number 6. But, guys, that's it, you know. We have now come to the, you know, the finale of Ready to Love. It's kind of taking us on a journey of, oh, God, here they come again. And then I say that, then I'm like, well, actually, that happens. It's real life. So I think what I like about watching this show and even talking about this show is, even when I roll my eyeballs to the sky, then I come back and remind myself, well, this really happens. So even though it does seem like there's a lot of editing and there's a lot of production intervention and interference, it still does kind of reflect what's really going on. So I'm here for another season. Hope you are too. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like this video, make a comment, and subscribe. Lola, over and out. Thanks, guys.